Okay, take two. First one was kind of weird because first of all, my cat was like trying to eat my laptop wire, so I was like, no, and then my mom started blow drying her hair, so um, I was like, I need to stop. So basically, I am gonna try to get this recorded and then go rush to shower, so I don't stay up till like 3 in the morning, because I do need to start waking up again at my regular like work morning hours, after being in and out of the hospital for my dad for the past like almost 2 weeks. So yeah, this is basically like a video log or like a video cast. Um, Basically titled Dear Dad because my dad is no longer with us or me or here. Yeah. So, um, a majority of this I kind of typed it like during his like last hour, when I started noticing his respiration starting to like slow down. So I was like on my phone just typing notes because it was really long and hard. Like I don't know, like maybe the first 2 hours of watching someone unconscious, um, just taking breaths because their bodies like knows that once there's too much carbon dioxide built up that they need to take a breath, and that was pretty much it for like over 12 hours basically. It's kind of painful to watch. Like I was like, how can I tell him to like let go or something, but he's unconscious. He can't, like, voices don't stimulate him. So yeah, but I'll go back a little bit just because I don't know, maybe someone who hasn't watched this or whatever. I actually thought about typing it out and just leaving it like on my blog, but I haven't touched that thing in like years, and I feel like it's more personal when there's like a voice narrating that text. So yeah, I don't know. So basically, I'm just doing that to, like, I guess summarize my whole experience with like death in the immediate family. Um, so to go back, basically, my dad hasn't had. This is not his like first brush with cancer. He had colon cancer in 2019. It was literally his surgery was right before the pandemic shut down. So like, what was it, like February 2020 or something? Because I'm pretty sure it was like March that like things are closed down. You can't go to the hospital to visit anyone, anything, and stay inside your house for at least a month or something like that. That wasn't too bad. The only thing that annoyed me about that part was like there's this weird like tradition where you're supposed to just stay overnight at the hospital to watch your loved one like recover, and I never like really understood that because like why should I be doing someone else's job, and I live like a 10-minute drive away, so why would I want to sleep on a chair uncomfortably to watch my dad overnight? Like, why? Especially, I don't know. He wasn't like that ill like he was recently either, so that was dumb. He recovered well. It was kind of hard to like watch him prior to his surgery because I'm pretty sure it was sort of like mid stage, where he literally couldn't eat out, and I can hear him like run from the bedroom to the bathroom to vomit, like periodically, prior to his surgery. So that was not nice to hear. Fast forward to 2 months ago, July 2024. Um, he had a stroke, but I think he also had like respiration issues prior to that. And basically, when he had a stroke, he had a CT scan just to monitor where that blood clot was in his brain or where it was. And then I guess they took like a sort of full body or half body one where they could see his chest, and they like um, discovered a nodule after telling the hospital telling him to take the CD to their general doctor, and then their general doctor was like, "Oh, you should you should have a respiratory like doctor look at this." So they did that. I don't know like the full like details of it because I didn't go with them. Basically, my mom got laid off, and she was like the his assistant basically, and like took him to his doctor's visits. Basically, pulverized his food so it's liquid, so because he could only like eat liquid food. Especially after a stroke, I guess he had problems swallowing, but I'm not sure if it was like stroke related or actually like tracheal esophageal related because he did have like a cancer that wasn't like confirmed until like later on. Because like towards the end of his like life, like they called my mom and said like, oh, if he happens to struggle with something, do you okay like a tracheotomy or something where like they can't, since he has trouble breathing, I guess they had trouble intubating him too, so they could have to like cut a hole in his throat and do some sort of thing to, I guess, either have him breathe like from now on or something like that. I don't know. But basically, he had a lung nodule, and then he had a neck mass. So I'm not sure what caused it, but like basically his neck mass also over time kept growing to the point where it started blistering, and then during his like last weeks of living, it like totally swollen. It swelled up all his like left arm. I'm trying to remember what arm it was. It was his right arm because he was sleeping like this. Yeah. And then even like this part started like blistering up. So I'm not sure like if that was the cancer that metastasized and spread, or was it the one in his chest? But I guess it could be both. So yeah, what have I missed? So I mentioned I typed this all out, so I'm trying to remember. Like, I already went off on a tangent, so I don't remember where I left off. But yeah, so basically, he got weaker and weaker to the point where like he couldn't eat because he can't swallow without coughing up a storm. So the next option was to get a stomach tube placed in him, and that was done like 1 week prior to his death. And what happened was basically, even when it was placed, it wasn't used because it was accumulating too much fluid to really have like food stay in his stomach to absorb. So that was kind of pointless. Basically, that was like if he did okay recovering, but unfortunately like the cancer like spread so fast that like it was pointless. It was basically like practice for the surgeon. But then I guess things really went bad after the stomach tube surgery because his blood pressure dropped, and that was when he got transferred to the ICU. But that day, I had visited him the night before. I was gonna tell my manager that well, my dad's in the ICU. I might take a half day, but I got rear-ended on my way to work, so like I ended up just not going to work that day because I told like my boss like, oh, he might pass today just because his blood pressure's low. So she's just like, stay home, it's fine. And then I had to like deal with all this stupid car stuff. But basically, I guess that was like downhill from there because I don't know if it was the cancer that was like starting to get to his brain or medication causing anxiety or what, but like my dad started saying like, how much longer am I going to be here? He would either tell me, my mom, or my brother to like carry him out, put on his shoes and take me out of here. I was like, I'm pretty sure I can't, Dad, because the security is going to kick me out. So like the best I can do is say like, oh, your oncologist is coming on Monday, we'll see what he says then. But yeah, unfortunately that Monday was his last day like to live. And this whole time he was on oxygen. So like, I guess he could have like been in a hospice situation, but I think that would just shorten his life, honestly. Especially if his red blood cells aren't getting enough oxygen. And then he was like at a point where he would literally try to like rip off his mask. So, yeah. But basically, I guess I don't know. I did miss a little bit of his like responsiveness because the day prior to his death, like I had I had only visited him during the evening, and he was like sleeping comfortably. But I'm pretty sure at that point he was already like semi like unconscious. So I was like, oh. So I asked my brother like, during the day was he sleeping comfortably like that, or was he more like talkative? But he said that he told my brother that the same stuff, like he went to go home to take his stuff and put on his shoes. So that, I don't know. But basically, the next morning I slept for like 3 hours, and then my mom called at like 5 in the morning. But my phone was on bedtime mode, so it doesn't ring until like, it doesn't ring at all. It doesn't ring until like 7 in the morning. But anything prior to that, just a notification. And that's when she was like mad at me. But I didn't. It's not too much of an issue because he still like had vitals going. And just he wasn't conscious. And then I just literally watched him for like 16 hours that day. And then like after his death, I waited another like 5 hours just to make sure his body got taken by the funeral home, and like to make I guess my mom wanted to make sure it was like taken away right then and there, or witness it, I guess. If you're curious about that, that's pretty much how my dad was. So I wasn't sure if it was like his lung nodule or his like neck mass that got him in the end. It could be both. But it was pretty aggressive. You would think it would be like months that would like take over, but yeah, it was like weeks. I guess if it was technically, I guess it could have been months. Like it was literally like post stroke, so that was only like 2 months ago. So yeah, we've been like trying to like adjust to like an emptier house, and then I'm trying to like struggle with the individualism of me being an American and like Chinese traditions. So that's been a horrible experience. Also, like during that whole duration, like I pretty much understand how to monitor vitals, so I knew like how to read EKG. Not that he was on one. He was on one in the ICU, but he wasn't on one afterwards. But he had a pulse oximeter on, so I knew to read that. But like whenever it blanked out, my mom would freak out, and she like confused it with blood pressure, which was annoying. So I was like, "That's not blood pressure; it's his freaking pulse." So yeah. And then when she thinks like the pulse is like high or low, it's like that's like normal resting pulse. Stop freaking out. But I get it. She's like so helpless, and he was like going on a downward trajectory that like you don't know how to take things in. So yeah. I also forgot to mention that like my dad lost his vision in one eye, like prior to his stroke, prior to his stroke. So in his ICU bed, he mentioned that he got his vision back, but I'm not sure if it was like the whole like cancer affecting his brain, or like him trying to say that so he can get out sooner. Yeah. But yeah, it was totally like heartbreaking because my mom had been like going there overnight for like almost a week. She would like brush his teeth and everything, and like watching her so helpless, and then like one of the things was that he would get fevers, and he would also have like pneumonia, and that's basically what they were treating because there isn't really much to do besides like supportive care when he's like in that situation. So they were just trying to treat his pneumonia, but I don't. This is sort of a lost cause because I don't know if he actually really had an infection. He did have like elevated white blood cells earlier in the week prior, but I don't know if it really like helped the week afterwards. But the nurse did say that he heard crackles in his lung sounds, so he did have pneumonia. Both as far as what caused it, I don't know. And then like he would have fevers, so like since he couldn't take anything by mouth, they had to put it like in his rectum, and that was like, yeah, I was like, whoa. So yeah, I definitely can't do human medicine, or at least like human care, surgical care or post-op care. Yeah. Apparently that wasn't the first time either when I watched it. Apparently my brother also saw it happen. So, and he was like more awake at the time he saw it too. But yeah, so that was like heartbreaking basically, because when my mom knew he had a fever, and she's like, oh, the nurses only gave him like fever reducing medication. They didn't. She ended up like wetting paper towels and putting it over his head and trying to like cool his temperature down. But it's like a lost cause, mom. Like he's not coming back. Like I didn't say that, but like it's in your head telling you that. So yeah, I guess it's also like this whole like weird. We have a weird family dynamic. So when my friend texted me like, oh yeah, I know we come from like this similar dysfunctional family backgrounds, but just take the time off, be there for your family. And then I was like, yeah, I hear you. So that's what I did. Because I don't know, it's weird because even when he was alive, like he's not the best dad. He's like, he did the absolute minimum as a dad. Basically, he'd like, here's money I made, you figure out how to like pay the bills, and I'm just gonna eat. Prior to that, he expected her to cook everything for him, and like, I'm just gonna go eat, go to work, consume alcohol, watch TV, and repeat basically 7 days a week for like 30 years. I also didn't mention that he was a smoker prior to his like alcoholism. Alcoholism basically resumed after like maybe like 6 months after his colon removal surgery. He had colon cancer. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. Yeah, but he did stop smoking years prior. He stopped when I was like, I think that's before I was a teenager. But my dad is also older, so I don't know how much he smoked prior to that. I'm trying to think right now. He had me when he was 37. I think he was smoking for almost 20 years. So I don't know if like quitting smoking would revert that like damage done to yourself, or you just have like seeded cells that could possibly turn into cancer cells later on anyways, or your damaged cells would replicate to not be fully healthy cells, and that's what happened. I don't know. I'm not super like sciencey, but I try to be. Yeah. And then like, I don't know, it's just like, besides like I guess sponsoring her ability to immigrate here, like he didn't really do all that much. So yeah. And then like luckily I still have some pictures of us like that are like happy, because like towards the end of his life, like we didn't do anything together. I did go to him. I did go ask him like in like 2016 or 17 that if, because I went to go to the Natural History Museum, and like it's not a cool thing to do, so I asked my dad if he wanted to go with me, because I'm pretty sure other people that if I asked them that they wouldn't be interested. So I went with him to check out like dinosaurs, and I went with my like an uncle of mine who had passed like prior. So That was interesting. I was looking at like some of the photos I took with my DSLR or Micro Four Thirds, one of those two, and I actually found both of them like not in the center of the photo, like but on the side, and I was like, oh. But yeah, that was like I had like a good picture from there. And then I had also asked both my parents if they wanted to check out the aquarium together, like 1 or 2 years later after that. So I had like a nice couple picture of them, but we ended up using like his WeChat photo for his little shrine, because I guess in tradition, or at least in our Chinese tradition, you're supposed to make like a shrine at home, literally like the day after or something. So I had to like get a picture, make sure it's like a high quality enough for like it to be enlarged to not look blurry. Surprisingly, it was only like 200 kilobytes, and like I don't even think it was like 1080p, but the picture came out pretty good. And then we went to like Dollar Tree and bought a bunch of candles, because you're supposed to like light candles continuously for a week, maybe, I don't know. And then like you have a bowl of rice with an egg in it, and then you put the chopsticks like a tombstone, like in a cross sort of symbol. I don't know. And then yeah, basically do like a Suntoy offering sort of deal. And that's been pretty much it. And then like I had to like go back and forth to CVS to like keep finding photos to print out, because like my mom kept thinking like, oh, the funeral home is gonna need these like right away. And then I went there today and they're like, no, please bring these back the day of, which is what I thought, because like what kind of place would like hold your belongings for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe. Wait, actually no, 2 weeks. It would be 3 weeks exactly, since his death. But yeah, what kind of place would like have the space to hold your belongings for like 2 weeks and be responsible for it? But yeah, I don't know, I can't really argue against my mom, so that's a lost cause. So yeah, it was just pretty much heartbreaking to watch her like try to remedy the problem, and it just kept spiraling. For me, at least, what I learned is like there are some like good people out there that like are still kind-hearted enough to like reach out to me, even though we haven't spoken in a while. And like people that like you don't expect to reach out to you, like knowing your situation, as like how you doing, and like that I totally respect to like the nth degree. It really says a lot about a person, so that I really appreciated. But yeah, I guess to like sort of wrap up. Oh my god, it's already been 20 minutes. But yeah, I guess to like sort of wrap up, I guess these are some of the things. Like if you never experienced like death in your family, like in your close family, where you like have to be around your loved one, expect some of them to like react not as you are used to, because maybe you are like trained to be more mature and stuff like that. But yeah, my mom literally could not like leave until she knew like everything was okay. Then that literally went from like death of the body is literally laying in the hospital room with the roommate in there, knowing that he's dead, for like the past 4 hours, just to make sure the funeral people come get him and watch the actual like body get pushed away. One thing I didn't know was like how fast your mucous membranes like gray out after like the body stops breathing. And then I didn't know like how yellow the skin got until like I saw his body for the last time, and that was like 4 hours post death. Apparently that's from the red blood cells breaking down and all the bilirubin inside that kind of spreads. And there's a lot of paperwork involved. But basically, yeah, it was also kind of annoying because at the hospital I was in, after visitor hours was like 9 p.m. But basically, as long as you go in before 9, you can technically just stay there until like whenever you want to leave. But there was one security guard that would like literally walk around with a sign saying like it's past 9, time to go. I was like, literally, like, my dad's dying. Like, I'm gonna spend as much time as I want here because I know he's dying. And then basically the day after, he did the same thing. I'm like, my dad's dead. Like, you're literally gonna tell me to leave? Like, it was stupid. Like, at least learn how to like talk to people, or at least know a more like kinder way to like ask them like if it's important or if they're okay enough to leave until tomorrow. Sort of stupid. It was dumb. But yeah, that day was very mentally draining. Um, just watching someone suffer for so long, it was a trip. So basically, I've been sort of like doing one thing at a time. I got my car back, which was nice. Whatever like logistical things, and then like information stuff that we had to gather for like the funeral home, for like death certificates, crap. Like I need to assist my mom with in like buying like floral arrangements and like crap that needs to be done for like rituals. Like I don't know, it's stupid. Like in the end, like if I'm gonna die, like if was to die like soon, I just want to be cremated and then have my like whatever is in my powder like scattered, and then hopefully my minerals get like put into something and give life into something new, and hopefully not like harvested and turned into like a car battery. But yeah, like at least make me like bring new life, like literally, rather than in a casket with a lot of like traditional things to do, like buy silk blankets and put them in a particular color order, and then like dress them in a particular way, and if you want your glasses on your dad with the hat, and like it's a lot. And then they had to like hire this like person like to tell my mom like, oh, you need this prepared because you need to like offer food to like give it to him in his like afterlife in the sky or whatever. Yeah, I'm like, this is a lot. Like, just bury him and like let his legacy live on, you know. But yeah, emotionally, I am okay. I don't think I'm gonna break down in tears. Like, honestly, the most my dad ever done like recently is like asked me to restart his phone because his like YouTube wouldn't work. And I guess it's just like waking up in the morning and not seeing him like also wake up in the morning at the same time. That's a little strange. Technically, I can go back to work like this week, so that's what I've already like set forward, or at least I guess confirmed. I even got a sympathy flower, which I was kind of surprised about, especially because I missed work so suddenly for so long. But yeah, I appreciated that. It was like from the college, but like I know who sent it. Yeah. And then I just kept getting texts like saying like, oh, still hugs for you, and stuff like that. I was like, okay, thank you. Yeah. And then I basically like paid $500 for like a car detail job and a new bumper, and a headlight polishing, which I didn't even want, which was stupid. If I was dead ass broke, I would like be more mad about it, but I'm not, so I don't really care. So yeah, I guess to end on a light note, Dad, if your spirit's with me and you're in the sky, I guess you know I'm homosexual now, and send a hot guy my way, someone who won't like lead me on, or without the slightest hardship or inconvenience, rather than shut me down, like a guy that will step up to the challenge, knowing things I don't really enjoy, and maybe try to change my mind. I mean, even if I still didn't like it, I would appreciate the effort, you know. Like, I'm not gonna hate it, you know, just because I hate it. So yeah, even if it didn't last, you know, like at least I knew their intentions were good, and I would have respected that either way. Yeah. So yeah, I did write this in my Instagram story, about a couple hours after he passed, just because there was a lot of like going in and out. I would have posted it right away, but there was a lot of like nurses running in and out, doctor confirming death, nurses getting papers for my mom to sign, and then getting funeral papers like filled out and given back. So yeah, like that's a lot. But basically, I wrote like, "Dear Dad, wherever you are, I hope you can eat, breathe, and have the energy to do the things you like to do once again, without the pain and suffering you've endured these past months." And then I just wrote it in Chinese, but like on Instagram, I wrote it in Mandarin because my brain is wired to type in Mandarin because I never learned how to learn how to type Chinese and Cantonese. But yeah, I recently learned like Google Translate. You can actually have Chinese translated to Cantonese, and then they'll give you like the romanized like pronunciation. But I never learned how to type that way, so I had to like think in Mandarin. But it's basically like, "我不记得你喺邊度，不過我希望你而家冇痛，or 你可以放心啦。Or I don't know. Oh God. basically it's like, "Aba, 我记得." This is why I am horrible at Chinese. I realized that if I had worked in a human hospital, I would definitely be more fluent in Chinese and have like passable Spanish. But basically, it's like, "Apa, 我冇知道你喺邊度，不過我希望你而家冇痛啦， or 你而家舒服啦。食過嘢，唞氣，or 你中意做個嘢，全部你可以放心啦。你乜嘢都可以做。It's like, and then like joking. That's like pretty much the whole like gist of it, I guess. Hopefully it's understandable because I'm pretty bad. I don't know, like it's hard to write something more heartfelt because basically there wasn't much of a relationship for us. So the least I can just do is like hope his pain and his suffering was gone after he passed. So yeah, it's kind of hard to like end the video like on such a sad note, but yeah. If you're still there, or if you're still here watching, I do have a ASOS package that I want to actually open in this video, but I was like, I changed my mind. I don't think it's appropriate, and it's like, I don't think it'll work in that way I wanted it to work. So I'm just gonna do it in a separate video. But basically, I've been like watching Baekho like perform at those music festivals, and I was like, I want his clothes. So I sort of like bought basically like wide leg pants, and then some more fitted shirts, sort of inspired by his whatever his stylist put on him. That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, I did buy like the Nike jockstrap version of the briefs I have. Actually, I'm wearing it right now. It's kind of a cute like peep too. If you saw my Instagram earlier, like when I was like dressed in like a mess, it was my shorts that I was wearing. That one doesn't have the string of it. It's like one is lost in the inside, so like I can't really tie it. So I didn't realize that like it was drooping down and it was like peeping out like that. And then my tank top was like this. So like it was a kind of a cool look. But also I was like dressed very like not appropriate for a funeral place. But yeah, I'll dress more like right in about 2 weeks when my dad's actual funeral is. It is kind of wild that like you would think that my mom would want it to be done as soon as possible, but I guess the soonest date would be the 17th, which is basically the night before Jungchoji, or the Mid-Autumn Harvest Festival, or Chuseok if you are a Korean, which is Korean Thanksgiving. So my mom was like, nope. So yeah, and I guess with the whole like I don't want to say shaman or whatever, but maybe it is a shaman. Who knows? The Sifu, who is like orchestrating the whole like ceremony. His next availability or that would fit with the funeral home was the 30th. So it's literally like 3 weeks post death. Okay, I'm gonna go shower now. I'm gonna go to bed before 2. Bye.